one of the things that you want to think about before you enter into a meeting or a conversation where you want to influence, the question is, what am I trying to do here? And if persuasion is your goal, then you need to plan for these three questions. What do I want this person to think about when this is over? What do I want them to feel? And what do I want them to do? So you want to be intentional in preparing for your communication. That begins with planning. So say, for example, you're heading to a meeting where you need to influence a senior leader to do something. Perhaps you want them to submit paperwork. Say it's a performance review, and they haven't done it. Currently, you're just not getting their cooperation or their compliance. And you can't really mandate it, or you can, but there's no real consequence for this paperwork not to be done. So as you prepare for the conversation, what do you want them to think? Well, you want them to think that this is important work and that there's a benefit to them in some way if they can get it done. You want them to feel that it's their obligation, it's their responsibility. And then what do we want them to do? We want them to make a plan to take action. And so that requires really that you plan your communication. You think about, what's the reaction that I want? What do I want them to remember? And what do I want them to do? And what can I do to be strategic? One of the things that can be helpful is by aligning yourself with them and asking for their advice. So for example, you might say, what do you think is the best way to have employees see the value of completing the annual review paperwork? And so now you're asking for their advice. And when you ask for advice, you get the person in as a partner. And you tend to get a more favorable response and a more constructive input from them toward having them follow through.